You guys know the answer, right? 525,600 minutes, right? How many of you got that? Good morning. We come today to worship together, to be together here in this hall and across time and space. Welcome. We welcome you, whoever you are and however you love. Whatever names, if any, you use for what matters most to you, whatever your wounds or your scars, your dreams or your daring, we welcome you. I'm Matthew Johnson. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm the senior minister here at the church. Our worship team this morning also includes our director of religious education, Lindsay Trank, music director, Tim Anderson, and worship associate, Gloria Perez. Autumn Powell, our office manager, is running tech for us today. If you are online, hello and welcome. Do like, comment, and share this worship service and engage with others in the replies and comments. If you're in person, hello. Masks are recommended but not required. Do join us for coffee hour after the service today in the fellowship hall. And the noise of children is always welcome here, but please do silence your electronic devices. If today is your first day worshiping with us online or in person, we're very glad that you are here. Let us know who you are at the welcome table if you didn't already so that we can be in touch. And before we begin, I invite you to turn to those around you and say hello. We're going to sing together 368, Now Let Us Sing. I'm going to invite our music director, Tim Anderson, up here to get us going today.
Clearly, I missed something. Oh, no, it's not around. Unless you'd really like one. I mean, we could adapt this, I think. No. I know a lot of you know this song, but we never assume that everyone does know this song. So there are two parts, and this is the UU Church, so we don't tell you which part to sing. You sing whichever part you'd like. So you may pay attention to the designations up here or not. But we're going to sing through each part once so that you have a chance to hear it before we actually do it. This is one of those zipper songs where everything's the same except one word changes in each verse. So we start with power, we move to hope, we move to love, and then we move to joy. So the part that says low voices, that part goes like this. And I should sing it up an octave so that you realize it doesn't have to be low voices. But that would get really uncomfortable quickly. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. I guess the first one's faith, not power, sorry. Let's do that together, whatever your voice. Here we go. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. Right. The other part goes, sing to the power of the faith within. Sing to the power of the faith within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the faith within. Let's all do that one. Sing to the power of the faith within. Sing to the power of the faith within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the faith within. Now, you may sing whichever one you like. I'm probably going to sing that second one just because it keeps us going. And if we had the choir here, I'd have the choir sing the other part to make sure that gets going. But any choir folks out there, feel free to step right up. Let's stand in body and or in spirit. And just to get us going, let's do that low part once through, and then when you go back and start, we'll bring in the other part. Here we go. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. Sing to the power of the faith within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the faith within. Now let us sing to the power of the hope within. Sing to the power of the hope within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the hope within. Now let us sing to the power of the love within. Sing to the power of the love within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the love within. Now let us sing to the power of the joy within. Sing to the power of the joy within. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Sing to the power of the joy within. Next time we'll do it as a round.
Good morning. My name is Gloria Perez, your worship associate for today. My pronouns are she, her, ella. We are worshiping in the homeland of the indigenous Ho-Chunk people and are humbled to be on this sacred ground. This land, this country, this liberal faith, and our very lives are inherited from the complicated intersections of oppression, freedom, resistance, migration, war, justice-making, and hope. From these legacies, we learn, grow, seek repair, give thanks, and build a better world for those who will inherit our choices. We gather today for worship, and as we gather, we join in our sacred ritual. The flaming chalice is the symbol of our faith, a beacon of truth, a fire for justice, a warmth for the soul. A board member, Rebecca Benedict, close. Oh well, thank you, we love you. Let us speak together the covenant of our church. Love is the spirit of this church, and reason is its guide. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth and freedom, and to serve. This is our. Now let us sing together our chalice response song.
Gather for worship together. Take a breath in and out. We begin with the prayers of the people, the naming of joy and sorrow, and the holding in heart of those we love. Hold in our hearts all those who suffer and are recovering from maladies, of illnesses and challenges. May mercy and healing attend them. I invite you to speak aloud or in your heart the names of those you are holding in your heart this morning as we gather together. May the spirit of mercy and love be with all those named and unnamed in this hall. We gather for worship together. Breathe in and out. We come with our questions, with our wondering, with our imagination of what could be and our fear of what might be. We come to get a break from our regular week. We come because we've always come for longer than we can barely remember. We come because we're curious and nervous. We come because we wonder what might be if we were to make of our lives purpose and meaning and devote ourselves to something larger than ourselves. We come, we don't know why, but something in us calls us to be present. So be present. You have nowhere else to be and nothing else to do for right now. To be here, to attend to your heart and your mind and the moments that are here. Let us worship together.
Where my free spirit onward leads, well, there shall be my way. By my own light illumined, I've journeyed night and day. My age, a time-worn cloak I wear, as once I wore my youth. I celebrate life's mystery, I celebrate death's truth.
Good morning. I'm Lindsay Trank, the Director of Religious Education here at the church. My pronouns are she and her, and our story this morning is The Cloud Spinner by Michael Catchpool. There was once a boy who could weave cloth from the clouds. He had a spinning wheel and a loom on top of a hill. As the clouds passed, with the whir of the wheel, he would spin them into thread. Gold in the morning with the rising sun, white in the afternoon, and crimson in the evening, just as his mother had taught him. Then, with a clickety-clack of his loom, he would weave the thread into cloth. As he worked, he sang a simple tune his mother had taught him. Enough is enough, and not one stitch more. The boy was wise. He spun just enough thread and wove just enough cloth to make 2 scarves, one of pure white that he wore over his head when it was hot to protect him from the sun. The other he wore when it was cold. It was a twist and a twirl of gold and white and crimson, soft as a mouse's touch and warm as roasted chestnuts. His mother had taught him well. One chilly market day, the boy walked down the hill, a basket in his hands and his scarf around his neck. The market was full of great excitement. The king was on his way. Soon the king rode grandly by, hardly noticing the curtsies and cheers. But what his greedy eyes did notice was the wonderful scarf of gold and white and crimson. "Tell me, boy, where can I get a scarf of such fine cloth?" "Nowhere on earth," the boy replied. "Then how did you get yours?" snapped the king. "I made it," said the boy. "Then you will make another for me. A longer one, much longer, for I am the king." But the boy said, "It would not be wise to have a long scarf made from this cloth. Your Majesty does not need it." "How dare you tell me what is wise?" shouted the king. "I order you to make me my scarf." So the boy went home to the top of the hill, and with a whir of the wheel, he began to spin. He spun the clouds as they passed in the morning and were gold with the rising sun. He spun in the afternoon as the clouds sailed past, white as snowdrifts. He spun in the evening when the clouds were crimson, and then with the clickety-clack of the loom, he wove the thread into a long, long scarf. The king was overjoyed. His scarf was soft as a mouse's touch and warm as roasted chestnuts. "Now, make me a cloak of this glorious cloth," he ordered, "and dresses galore for the queen and my daughter the princess." But the boy shook his head. "It would not be wise to have so many clothes made from this cloth. Your Majesty does not need them." The king's face was a twist of scowls. "I want those clothes, and I order you to make them." So the boy went home to the top of the hill, and with a whir of the wheel, began to spin. He spun the clouds as they passed in the morning and were gold with the rising sun. He spun in the afternoon as the clouds sailed past, white as snowdrifts, and he spun in the evening when the clouds were crimson. He spun, and it got harder and harder, for soon there were fewer and fewer clouds. At last, with the clickety-clack of the loom, the boy began to weave the thread into cloth beneath a cloudless sky. And as he worked, he sadly sang, "Enough is enough, and not one stitch more." The king was delighted. He put on the wonderful cloak, and the queen and the princess each put on a beautiful flowing dress. "Surely," he boasted, "there is no other king as magnificent and wise as me." "Not one," said the queen. The princess said nothing. But day after day, as they wore their marvelous clothes, not one drop of rain fell from the cloudless sky. "Your Majesty," pleaded the villagers, "our animals are thirsty and our crops are all dying." "There's nothing I can do," shouted the king, walking this way and that, his cloak trailing behind him. "Why are you moaning to me?" The princess said nothing. But that evening she quietly slipped out of the palace. She wore a simple dress, and in her arms was a bundle, soft as a mouse's touch and warm as roasted chestnuts. She crossed the dry, dusty gardens and the brown fields beyond and climbed to the top of the hill. Stepping forward, she knocked at the boy's door. "Is it too late to undo what has been done?" The boy smiled and said simply, "There is still time." When the king awoke the next morning, he could not find his wonderful cloak. The queen could not find her beautiful dresses. They searched the palace for the clothes that the boy had made, but they were gone. While outside, the villagers danced for joy as the rain began to fall from the clouds in the sky. It rained and rained and rained. The king and queen looked out and wondered. And the princess, with a smile as bright as the rainbow, stood on top of the hill and sang, "Enough is enough, and not one stitch more." And if you'll join us in singing the first verse of This Little Light of Mine, we'll head outside for religious education.
I hope you are subscribed to the Kairos, our weekly newsletter that has events and announcements that are coming up. Two things I want to highlight this morning. One is that our auction is on September 23rd. The deadline for donations to the auction is Friday. So we need you to get those donations in. There's a link on the website and in the newsletter, and there's a QR code on a flyer that's in the narthex, so it's very easy. Be creative. Think of a dinner you could host and people could bid on, or an activity you could provide, or if somebody's a great gardener and you want to put up bid and I'll come and tell you what to do in your garden, I would absolutely bid on that. So what I need you to do is think of ideas and be creative, and let's get lots of items on the auction. It's the first in-person auction we will have had in 4 years together. It's our biggest fundraiser other than the annual campaign every year, and we want to have lots of events and ideas and all kinds of different things at different sort of donation points and price points. So be creative and get those donations in this week, please. We'll celebrate our homecoming service on the 10th of September, the Sunday after Labor Day weekend, and we will have a potluck as we used to do that Sunday, so put it on your calendar to bring something and enjoy coming back together as summer, although we are together already, aren't we? But we always do that, lots of fun. Each month, we're going to be highlighting one of the activities of one of our Faith in Action teams this year. So we'll be talking about each month what that Faith in Action, we have 3 teams, and so you'll hear from each of them every 3 months, more or less, about the activities and events. The Share the Plates for that month are based on that team's work, and trying to really get folks interested and engaged in our various teams. And for September, that's our Racial and Economic Justice team, so we'll start today at the end of August to let you know about their activities and events. And so I want to invite their co-chair, Kathy Madison, to come up and tell you a little bit about what the Faith in Action Racial and Economic Justice team is up to.
Good morning. I'm Kathy Madison, the co-lead of the Racial and Economic Justice Issues and Action Team with Gloria Perez, and my pronouns are she and her. We're very excited about our wonderful Wednesday on September 6th. It's at 6 p.m. here at the church. We have an expert panel to discuss how Rockford's doing as a place of welcome to immigrants, refugees, and other newcomers. What do we do well, and what can be stronger? We really need you to come and be part of the conversation. Our panelists include Illinois State Representative Dave Vela, Community Leader Mustafa Abdul, City of Rockford Human Services Director Anquinette Parham, Dr. Keith Barnes, he's Vice President of Equity and Inclusion at Rock Valley College, and Dr. Misael Nascimento, Executive Director of Bilingual and Multicultural Services at the Rockford Public Schools. Again, that's Wednesday, September 6th at 6 p.m. here at the church. Also, we'd like to invite you to the Anti-Racist Cookbook Workshop that's sponsored by the Multicultural Ministries. This is not really cooking, but this workshop will provide guidance and how-to recipe guidance, sort of, on valuable tools in having cross-cultural conversations. So things about stereotypes, learning about the difference between discrimination and prejudice. So really some valuable information. And the workshop takes place at 2 Saturdays, September 9th and the 30th. It's 9 to 11 in the morning at the church. There is a book, the Anti-Racist Cookbook, there are some copies in the office if you want to borrow them, but it's not necessary to read the book. Please register using the link in the Kairos. And our regular meeting is the second Sunday, and we meet in the library after the service. We'd like to invite any of you who are interested in these issues. We now take up an offering to support the work of justice and mercy in the world. 80% of what's collected today will go to the minister's discretionary fund. Reverend Matthew and Reverend Joyce use these funds to support folks in the church who are in times of need or to support special projects and leadership training. Thank you for your generosity. The offering will be given and received.
Nowadays, we are very familiar with our smartphones, but we're not so familiar with our own minds. I read the sentence a few days ago, but I didn't note who wrote it, so I can't give you the proper acknowledgement. I read it, I laughed, and then stopped to pay attention. With what am I being called to be familiar? Mind is not nearly enough. I want to be familiar with my heart, spirit, my beliefs, my values, for starters. And how do I go about becoming familiar with them? This is a question that does not have a short, straight, forward, easy, or complete answer. I believe that it is in the seeking of the answers, note plural, to this question that I become more deeply familiar with the things that make me who I am. When I was introduced to Unitarian Universalism, I had already been on a journey of asking questions and seeking answers. Sometimes I found answers when I had no idea what the questions were, or even what to do with the answer. Now, as a UU, I am not only called to this search, but I am supported in it. There are pathways that I can use for my journey, like the ones we experienced in the monthly themes we looked at during this past church year. I'm called to look in the mirror to answer the questions. Who am I? What brings my life meaning? What can I offer to the world around me? Each day, I have opportunities to follow the path to things like wonder, creativity, belonging, change, vulnerability, delight. I realize how many ways I come alive, so much more than mind. When I recognize these things in me, it is an easy move to recognize them in you as well. I am moved towards compassion and a feeling of being desirous of using whatever answers, as well as questions, I have found to make a difference in the world, the interconnected web of all life. One of this year's themes was the path to courage. A bit of courage and some risk-taking brought me up here as a worship associate for the last 2 years, sharing pieces of my life with you. This is the last time I will be your worship associate. My term has ended. Being here and giving testimony to the theme of the service has been a huge part of my spiritual journey. Thank you for traveling with me.
We're going to sing together. With joy we claim the growing light, and I invite you to rise in body and or in spirit. Two readings this morning. The first is an excerpt from Reason and Reverence by William Murray, the former president at Meadville Lombard Theological School. And he writes this: A few years ago, as I was preparing a sermon, I asked some of the members of my congregation what they understood by the word spirituality. I got a number of different answers. Some said things like, "I'm looking for something more to my life, something deeper and more satisfying. I'm not sure exactly what it is I'm looking for, but that's what I call spirituality." Others said they were seeking a deeper meaning and purpose than they had found thus far. Some said they were looking for something to replace the faith in God that they had lost. Spirituality was not easy for them to define, but it was clear that people were not entirely satisfied with their lives. They felt something was missing. Many were unable to see their lives in the context of a divine plan, and they were feeling an emptiness in their lives, a lack of meaning and purpose. It was not enough to go to work 5 days a week, watch television, go to movies, do some reading, attend a party here and there, and spend time with family. Without something deeper, these things were not enough. For these people and for many others, the old myths, stories, symbols, and beliefs, the ideas that through traditional religion informed Western culture for 2 millennia, had lost their power and credibility. Once they informed our thinking and satisfied our yearning to find something bigger than our own egos, something deeper and more meaningful than achieving and accumulating or having a good time. Now, for many, these myths and symbols no longer provide a context for meaning or belief system. However, the secular myth of salvation by science, technology, and economic growth has also proven to be shallow and insufficient. And it cannot provide an adequate meaning and purpose to sustain our lives either. We live between the times. The old myths have died, but no new myths have yet arisen. And the second reading is called Blessing by Barbara Peskin. We spend so much time running from ourselves, fleeing from what we know about the goodness in our hearts. We think we can escape the intelligence of our loving. Imagine you are standing before a bodhisattva, Jesus, Buddha, the First Mother. It does not matter what you call the Holy One. He has dust on his shoes, chaff clings to her, the smells of being alive. Shining from their faces is the beam of all their questions, the compassion of their living. Can you see yourself through those eyes? Can we know each other like that? We who no longer believe in messiahs can hardly believe in each other. Can we know ourselves seen and know each other in this same way until our restless hearts learn to abide in this knowing and in this love? Can we live in this gaze of blessing? Thus ends the readings, and I invite you to join with me in a time of centering and prayer and silence. I invite you to put your feet on the ground if they reach. Roll your shoulders back. If you're comfortable doing so, you might close your eyes. I find it helpful to place my thumb and my forefinger together. Take a breath. A little longer on the exhale than on the inhale. Just a little bit. And know that you are blessed and loved and holy. And let us be silent and still together. Spirit of life and love, be with us this day and every day. Amen.
Ours is a simple faith. Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place every day. Hope is the ground we till. Make each day what you will. Thankful for dreams fulfilled every day. No room in this heart for fear. No judgment day drawing near. Trust that inner voice you hear every day. Life's not a goal or race. It's about heart and faith and living a life of grace every day. Trust is an open hand, making an honest stand, rooted here in the land every day. Live in the mystery, seeking the harmony here between you and me every day. Ours is a simple faith. Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place every day. Hope is the ground we till. Make each day what you will. Thankful for dreams fulfilled every day.
The first time I heard Ours is a Simple Faith, a song about Unitarian Universalism, part of me thought, no, that's wrong. We're super complicated and hard to understand. Maybe it was pride talking. But no, the song is right. It really is a simple faith. It gets complicated because we try to explain, or we are asked to explain, who we are and what we are about by reference to the questions of Christian dogmatics. Do we believe in the Trinity and the resurrection? What does the Bible mean to us? And what about this and that and this and that and this and that? And that makes it complicated. But those are other people's questions. If we don't explain our faith by reference to any other religious point of view, just us, what we hold true, it is a simple faith. Pull out the lines. Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place, this life, every day. Listen to your inner voice. Live the mystery. Seek the harmony. That's it. It's a simple faith. To live with wonder and hope and love, to be kind and curious, to follow our conscience and learn from each other, Our faith, our good news, is that this way of living, this way of being is possible and good and worth the effort. Our faith that there is a power of hope and a power of love and a power of faith within us. Our faith that with wider view come loftier goal, with knowledge deeper reverence be. I love that line from Samuel Longfellow, with knowledge deeper reverence be. When we're curious and open, and when we grow in wonder and reverence for the world around us, see yourself through the eyes of one who loves you and believes in you. Know that you are sacred and part of the world. Feel the magic and the mystery and the wonder all around you. Appreciate it and protect it. The wonder isn't a commodity to be turned into the softest coats and scarves for the rich and powerful, but to be allowed to flow and bring life and beauty. This is our simple faith. You and everything is wondrous and connected and full of love. That's it. Simple. Now, simple does not mean easy. Not at all. Not if we take it seriously. If we take our faith seriously, it will require of us profound effort, a willingness to let go and change our ways, a heart of forgiveness and acceptance and hope. It will require us to be countercultural, to resist the distractions and denials so common around us. If we take it seriously, this faith will change your life again and again and again. I would not have it any other way. I tell you, it's hard, but I would not have it any other way. I think about how much easier life would be if to not have a troubled conscience, to not wonder about existential questions, to not push myself to learn and grow, to take easy answers and forget the inner voice. Well, God, it would be easier, but it would be emptier. It would feel shallow, the edges sanded off, the beauty muted, turned down. The heartbreak easier, probably, sure. Yeah, that's true. But the joy would be so much smaller, too. Let me give you an example. Yesterday, I was out for a run, as I do on Saturdays, and I was listening to a podcast to occupy my mind. The early history of Charles I before the English Revolution, 1625, was the episode I was on. I started this podcast when the Romans left Britain, and now I'm in 1625, made a long way. And I know that that would have put some of you to sleep. But I should have found it fascinating. My mind, though, kept wandering. So about mile 4, I switched to music and just let the questions come. There was doubt and worry, and that old friend of ours, fear. Those things we usually keep at bay with the noise of our lives, right? But on mile 6, the other side of that was something deeper. Acceptance of mystery and openness to the unknown and clarity about what matters now. It all sort of clicked and the fear began to dissipate. By mile 10, I had the outline of a few sermons for later this fall composed in my mind. You'll hear them later. More importantly, a sense of peace with the existential questions rattling around. Mile 11, I just wanted to finish. That was my goal for yesterday. It doesn't always work this way. But this is what our faith asks of us, to go into the questions and not shy away. I would not have it any other way. I go to church, and I would even if it was not my job, because I want to feel more. I want to consider what it all means, and I want to feel what it means. The wonder and the joy and the possibility. I want to hear music and poetry that makes my breath catch. I want to be asked questions that bless the week to come and help me understand the week that was. I want the rhythm of the ritual that centers and grounds me. I want to know that it's Sunday. What I mean by that is that one day rolls into the next, and you just go on. When do you move back and wonder about it? This is the meaning of Sabbath, to get out of the flow for a moment and see the world anew. This life where one day slides into the next, and 1 week slides into the next, and 1 month slides into the next, and 1 year slides into the next, and 1 decade, and all of a sudden you look around and it's like that Talking Heads song. You may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife, and you may ask yourself, how did I get here? Letting the days go by, same as it ever was. My God, what have I done? Now, if you are of a certain generation, this song is now stuck in your head, to which I can only say, you're welcome. Barbara Peskin puts it that we spend so much time running from ourselves. And there's a truth to that. Because to find ourselves, to be with ourselves, to wonder about what it all means, what we are for, what to do with our days, that's a lot. Are we really to spend them hustling or drifting from one to the next? Is that really what life is for? Is our purpose, as W.H. Auden put it, to be found by the Bureau of Statistics to be one against whom there was no official complaint? Are reactions to advertisements normal in every way? When there was peace, he was for peace, and when there was war, he was for war. To simply pass the time? Or are we searching for more? For meaning, for purpose, for a sense of the ineffable, for the mysterious and the tremendous. Tremendous in the sense that it makes us tremble. Our simple faith says that there is more. And that we feel it, that wonder, that amazement, that power within and without. We feel it in the presence of beauty and nature, from poetry and song and art, from moments of possibility and beginning. And yes, maybe most of all, really, from fragility, from finitude, from the inescapable truth that we are not forever. Or as the Unitarian Universalist Greta Gerwig wrote in a pivotal line of the year's biggest movie, do you guys ever think about dying? So yes, Greta Gerwig, director and co-author of the Barbie movie, is a Unitarian Universalist, raised in this faith. There's a ton that we could talk about when we talk about the Barbie movie, and I know not all of you have seen it, that's fine. We could talk about gender and body, and about relationships and friendships and mothers and daughters, democracy and patriarchy and capitalism. There's a lot there, but I want to focus on the existential part, the question that Barbie asks in the middle of the dance party at the beginning of the movie that shifts the whole story, the question that scratches the record and makes her decide to go outside of Barbie land to ask, what am I for? And what do I want out of my life? And what is all this? And what is real? What is real? And the question is, do you guys ever think about dying? We human beings have been wondering about this for thousands of years, and more often than not in denial about it. We rush through, we pretend it doesn't exist. In times ancient and medieval, a whole set of rituals and beliefs and practices grew up around this to help people deal with this. Rituals that helped folks make sense of this reality, that processed it and made dying a passage to a new world, that took away the existential dread for many. But in the modern era, as our reading from William Murray put it, these old myths and stories and beliefs have lost their power and credibility with many of us. So where do we turn? Because I think Bill is absolutely right that the secular myth of salvation by science, technology, and economic growth has also proven shallow. Many turn there anyway, or just plain denial, watch another show, buy another something, or numb it with the drug of your choice. Or we see this today, replace your source of ultimate meaning with a cult leader, with nationalism, with identity. This simple faith, Unitarian Universalism, if we take it seriously, doesn't give us those options. It confronts the existential question. Do you guys ever think about dying? Do you all ever think about what life is for? Do you think about what's true and beautiful, about time and mystery and wonder? Do you ever think about that? It keeps asking. It does not answer. It invites us to consider, to wonder, and to feel. Maybe we will feel overwhelmed by these questions. Maybe we will feel confused. Maybe we will feel at peace or disturbed or both. But we keep asking and let the mystery be. One of my favorite moments in the Barbie movie was bringing in another one of my favorite songs from the 1990s, Closer to Fine, which is all about this search. Saying, I went to the doctor, to the mountains, and the professor, and the bar, searching for some definitive, and not finding it. Until they write, realizing there's more than one answer to these questions, pointing me in a crooked line. And when we stop searching for a definitive answer, the closer we are to fine. Not fine, closer to fine. Not finished, never finished, but at more peace, with more joy. To take this faith seriously is to ask deep questions and remember that there is more than one answer, to be open and to wonder. I wandered into an art gallery while I was on vacation a couple weeks ago, and I saw these two pieces hanging on top of each other. The top one says, "Don't forget you are going to die." And the bottom one says, "Love." They are mirrored, so I took two pictures from the angle so that you wouldn't be distracted by my reflection in the picture. But I want you to imagine looking at these and seeing your own face on the mirror. Don't forget you are going to die. Love. How do you respond to the fact that we die, that we are finite and fragile and imperfect, limited beings, people who experience wonder and awe and terror and sorrow and hope, sometimes all at once? What do you do with that? What do you do with that? You love. You love. Love is what you do with that. Love for the world and yourself and each other. Love for the questions, love for the mystery and the wonder, love for the holy, whatever name you use or don't use for that. Love is how you respond. It isn't easy, but it is simple. Life is a short embrace. Heaven is in this place every day. I think the question, do you guys ever think about dying? And the question, what is beautiful and true and good? And the question, what is the meaning of my particular life? What am I for? These questions disorient us. They shake us up. They make us stop and think. They crack us open. They crack us open. And that's where the light gets in. This is the invitation, or perhaps the demand. I'll say the demand of our faith, to get cracked open and let the light in. To let go of some definitive, to turn off the distraction and let the feelings and the thoughts come. To see what comes when you go there. To remember that you are going to die and that everything alive must. And to seek the meaning and the comfort and the hope of love. To say yes, despite it all the distractions and the temptations, the traumas and the confusions, to say yes to life and truth and love, to be a people and a person who keeps asking, keeps wondering, keeps learning, who finds in the journey and in the companions on that journey our meaning and our purpose, not in the destination, on the journey. When we take our faith seriously, we enter a spiritual pilgrimage of self-discovery, of existential and ultimate questions, of growth and change. And the point of a pilgrimage is not to arrive. The point is to make the trip and be changed along the way. When we take our faith seriously, we will think about dying and living, and about doubt and truth and a fear and love. We will tremble, and we will feel the peace beyond trembling. We will say yes. This is the invitation and the demand and the path. This is what we are about. It is not easy, but it is simple. It is what we are for. And it will change us every day. And I tell you, I would not have it any other way. Let us sing together. I invite you to rise in body or spirit for just as long as I have breath. Gloria will extinguish our chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry with us until we are together again. And while they do that, I invite you to join hands for our benedictions. If you'd rather not be touched, place your hands on your pockets or on your shoulders, in your pockets or on your shoulders. Move together. There you go. The words of our benediction from the Reverend John Brigham. Go your ways, knowing not the answers to all things, yet seeking always the answer to one more thing than you know. We'll sing together our sung blessing.